In this video, I wanted to take a look at some of my most commonly used VS Code key bindings and keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are something that can make your life a lot easier as a programmer and as a developer, and you often don't really realize how much quicker they can make your life or just make things simpler as you're moving through your code. So I wanted to touch on some of the ones that I really can't live without. First of all, I'm going to cover a couple that are related to like the IDE in general, and then I'll talk about some that are more editor specific. But one of the very first things that I do when I open a window in VS Code is I open or close the terminal. So in order to do that, you use Control and then tilde, or the backtick, which is usually right next to the 1 key. So that's going to open or close your terminal, which is especially helpful if you're opening a new window and you don't have a project open yet, and maybe you want to clone something into the terminal, and that way you can open it up in the UI here. So Control and then backtick or tilde is going to open or close your terminal. The next one is opening a file, which is Command P, and so then I can just jump to a different file. Like if I wanted to do my index.html, I could do that. You can scroll through the different files that you have open with Control Tab, but I don't really like that UI, so I generally just use Command P to open a specific file, and then I'll type in a file name. Like I could just do fuzzy search here and type in HTML, and then it would jump to my index.html. The next one that I use, but I use a little bit less, is to run a command. So this one would be Command-Shift-P, and this would be like running a VS Code command, like if I wanted to change case of something because I have this extension installed. Any sort of commands that you run that come from installed extensions that you have installed to VS Code, they can be run through here. So also if you want to open up your settings, which is probably my most common usage from this, or if I want to open up my keyboard shortcuts just to look at what one is and see how I can use one of those keyboard shortcuts, it's going to be Command-Shift-P. So again, Command-Shift-P, and then I could do like settings, and then I could go down and open my JSON settings if I wanted to. The last one that's kind of bleeding over from IDE into the editor itself is if I'm editing a certain file and I want to find out where this is in the tree, in the file tree. Let's say for this one, this would be specifically more pertinent and helpful, and probably would be more helpful if you have something like, let's say I'm down in here and I'm editing one of these nested files here, and then I'm like over here, then I'm back in my camel case file and I'm like, okay, where is this file actually coming from? And then I'll do Command-Shift-E, and it's going to show where this file is in the tree. Okay, a lot of times another thing that I'll do is I will copy the relative path, which I recently found out. Obviously you can see shortcuts over here on the right. This is going to be Option or Alt Shift Command C. I usually don't use this one, but I click this one here, but I should memorize this one. But if you want to reveal a file in the tree, it's going to be Command-Shift-E, and then you'll see it right here in this tree. Let's close this up and jump back into this file. Now for more editor specific ones, I guess for just manipulating through text, a lot of times you'll see like you'll press the arrow keys and you want to get to the very end of the line. Well, to manipulate through the line, this is pretty well known, and it's used outside of editors as well, in browsers, in word processors, stuff like that. But it's still really crucial to how you edit code and how quickly you're manipulating your text. Is if you use the command key and then command left or right arrow, you're going to jump to the beginning of the line or the end of the line. So that's going to jump there. Similarly, command up or down is going to jump to the bottom of the file or the top of the file. Okay, and then if we are within the middle of a line, let's say we're here, and then if you use Option or Alt and right or left, then it's going to go to the end or the beginning of the word. Okay, so it's going to be jumping there. So just getting those down can be very helpful, especially once let's say I want to highlight something and delete some stuff, then I could just highlight this certain piece of text, and I can use the Option key like I mentioned. And then from there, if I want to do individual letters or individual characters, I can just do my single arrow keys, and I don't have to hold Option or Command or anything. But that is, like I said, very common, not specific to VS Code, but really helpful if that's something that you're not already doing. Now, if you use Option up or down, that's not going to move your cursor like to the next paragraph or something. Option up and down, that is also very helpful, but this is helpful for moving code up and down, okay? So if you just press Option up, then it's going to move the current line up. If you press Option down, it's going to move that current line down, right? So I can move this one line, boom, move it all the way to the bottom if I wanted to. I don't really want to do that, and I just messed up on my formatting, but if we go up here, let's see if we can find where, there we go. That's where I put it. And I can also do this for multiple lines as well, right? So if I want to move all of these, I can do Option up and move all these lines at once, or Option down and move all these lines at once, okay? Now I kind of messed up all my formatting, which brings me to the next shortcut that I really can't live without, which is Indenting and Outdenting, I guess, if you want to say that. So for this, you can do Tab. If you're selecting multiple lines, you could like tab it in or tab it out. But if you're doing a single line or multiple lines, then you can do Command and your square bracket. Okay, so you tab it in and out. I guess, I'm not sure if you, I guess this is Indent and Outdent. And because you don't have to be making a selection of several lines, or you can, I prefer to use the Command and then the square bracket, because it's just consistent. Like I don't have to think, am I doing a single line or not? If I'm doing multiple lines, like I can do Tab, but again, I don't have to think about it, so I can just go ahead and do that. So right now I can tab this in, I can tab this in, and then go up here and I can highlight multiple and then tab both of these out. Same thing if we wanted to go crazy, I could do it for all these. And the last keyboard shortcut that I really can't live without, it's just so helpful, is highlighting the next occurrence of text. Okay, so let's say something that I would do often. Let me just first show you what this actually means. If I have data here and I want to change all of these occurrences of data, then I can just press Command D, Command D, Command D, and then I could change this to be like new name. That's not really what I wanted. That's actually going to break stuff if I keep it like that. But that's the general idea. So I can press Command D, Command D, Command D, and keep pressing it until I've selected everything that I want to, where it's the same occurrence. And then again, I can say this new name. So what I might do is I might select this equals and then select all these equals. And then maybe I want to change this to an object. And then I have these multiple cursors now. So I could jump back here, change this, jump to the end of the line, change these to commas. And now all I have to do is like add an open brackets, open curly brackets, and close curly brackets. And then up here I could say like const new object equals this thing, right? And now I have this new object. I can highlight this and then use Command in my square brackets to tab that in. And then I can use another one that I don't think I've covered yet. But the other one, the last one I was going to cover, this is really the last one, is Command Shift K is now going to delete a line. Okay, so that's going to delete the current line that my cursor's on. Again, I can do the same thing where I highlight multiple and I'm going to delete all those. But it's especially useful if I'm just on a line and I'm like, I don't really want this anymore. So I'll just delete that whole line. Okay, so all of these are really helpful when you start to memorize them and get the muscle memory of each of these. Then you can kind of do what I just did at the end here, where I was just like, okay, I want to turn this into an object and I want to do it quickly. I don't want to be performing all of these different clicks and drags and deletes and whatever. Like I can just sprawl out all these cursors and edit a bunch of text at once and then I've manipulated the code that I'm editing, and I've made it look how I want it to look pretty quickly. So definitely take a look at some more keyboard shortcuts. Take a look at how these might help you, and think about which ones you want to learn, which ones you want to memorize, and also definitely comment as well which ones I missed and any that could be helpful for you. Like I mentioned, a lot of times what I do is I will copy the relative path, but I didn't realize until just today, the thought didn't even cross my mind that there's a keyboard shortcut for this that I could memorize. So let me know if there are other ones that you are using often. I'd be happy to learn more. I'm sure that my editing could be improved and sped up. But hopefully this helps out, and we'll see you in the next video.